Well, this is the 9th Metro Prayer Breakfast since I became mayor of Oklahoma City in 2018. I've now been mayor for nearly a quarter of all the Metro Prayer Breakfasts ever held in our city. And though I don't have the full 42 years of archives at my fingertips, I can tell you with certainty that this is the first Metro Prayer Breakfast during my tenure that has fallen on our city's birthday. Many of you likely know that our city has the most unique origin story of any large American city. On April 22nd, 1889, 137 years ago today, the city's population went from a small number of government employees and squatters to 10,000 people. This explosive 24-hour growth was the result of a unique phenomenon, a land run. On March 2nd, 1889, with just 2 days remaining in his first of two stints as President of the United States, President Grover Cleveland signed legislation passed by Congress that authorized $1,912,952.02 as payment to the Creek and Seminole Nations for title to the land that would become Oklahoma City. 2 days later, now President Benjamin Harrison took office, and later that month, on March 23rd, he issued a proclamation stating that a land run would be held on April 22nd at noon to distribute the land we now know as Oklahoma City. April 21st was a Sunday. Thousands of people were massed along the border of the territory that would be opened up by the land run. It was said that churches in border towns were filled to capacity that Sunday, full of visitors waiting for the run to commence the next day. If there was a camp of settlers without a church building nearby, preachers in the camp were enlisted to lead ad hoc Sunday services. The next day, at noon on Monday, April 22nd, 137 years ago today, the land run commenced. Within hours, thousands of new residents had staked their claim right here on the land where this convention center sits. This was not a peaceful or organized process. Chaos would reign for days, and some might say for years. To try and achieve some order on the sixth day of the city's history, on Saturday, April 27th, a public meeting was held to elect the city's first mayor. Mayor William Couch was chosen. At the end of the meeting, everyone joined in to sing, "Praise God, from whom all blessings flow." On the seventh day, the settlers rested. At what is now Northwest 4th and Robinson, Reverend James Murray conducted a service under the auspices of the Methodist Episcopal Church. Joining him was W.P. Shaw, who taught a Sunday school class. There, within a few weeks, they would build a church. A little to the south of that, at the corner of Main and Broadway, now the home of Bank First and Continental Resources, Reverend Charles Hembry conducted a Sunday service in accordance with the Presbyterian tradition. On that first Sunday morning in Oklahoma City history, Reverend Hembry read from the third verse of the second epistle to Timothy, where Paul the Apostle says, according to the translation used by Reverend Hembry, "Thou shalt therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ." I suppose this felt like a fitting admonition to a resident of Oklahoma City in April of 1889. This was a hard place to live that week, and it would be for a while. This was a city without any of the amenities we now enjoy. Basketball would not be invented for 2 more years, so we were certainly a long ways off from being champions of the NBA. The modern Olympics had just launched 3 years before in Athens, so perhaps a resident of the city had read about that previously in a newspaper, but they certainly didn't expect to see the Olympics in Oklahoma City anytime soon. They were far more interested in installing running water than they were interested in kayaking down whitewater. This was a hard time in Oklahoma City. There have been many hard times in Oklahoma City's history, but the 89ers were tough, and so are we. But even the tough people of Oklahoma City have turned to prayer in hard times. On that very first Sunday, even before we had built houses, we constructed altars. And so as we wish Oklahoma City a happy 137th birthday this morning, it is most fitting that we extend gratitude to God for guiding the growth of this remarkable city. And as we did after electing our very first mayor, We praise God, from whom all blessings flow.